You're watching Atlanta Small Business Profile with your host and small business expert, Ted Jenkins.
Hey everybody, this is Ted Jenkins, small business expert, and you're right here on the Atlanta Small Business Profile, where we're interviewing an entrepreneur today, CEO Sara Khaki, who actually owns 2 law firms. Can you imagine that? Not one, but 2 law firms. That's got to be pretty difficult. We're going to learn more about it today. So you actually, as a lawyer, many lawyers only practice one discipline, but somehow you have 2 very disciplines that you're doing today. You're doing 2 very different things as a lawyer. How did you end up setting up your law firm and deciding to do 2 different ideas in law?
Well, I first started with the Khaki law firm, which is Social Security Disability. And at some point, I realized that myself and my management team had grown pretty good at creating operations that run smoothly. And also, we've done a pretty good job of recruiting people that are even better than us in delivering the services. So once we had leveraged a lot of our management, our systems out, we wanted to actually have a bigger role in people's lives when they're going through these transitional times.
That is such a niche practice, right?
It is
Social
so
Security
niche.
Disability.
It is so niche, absolutely. And so we decided to start a second law firm, the Atlanta Divorce Law Group, that does divorce, child custody, child support, adoption, all of that. And we wanted to, expand on our vision of how we want to impact people who are going through a big life transition, whether it's divorce or illness. It's a big life transition.
So you
for
opened
people.
up the second law firm, taking the systems that you built. It's almost like your own franchise. Did the first one, and then you figured out how to do it in another discipline. Now you said, you went to law school. Obviously, getting a law degree is tough, and a lot of people think once I have a law degree, well, life is set. But they don't. You said they don't teach you that much about being a business owner in law school.
Not at all, Ted. Not at all. There was probably only one thing that I think I remember on the management of a law firm was, here's how you write a memo to a legal assistant to take care of this client for you. But there is, a law firm, running a law firm is no different than any other business. It has all the main parts. You have staff, you have the actual services, you have sales, you have marketing, you have the systems that you have to put into place, the infrastructure. And so there's no conversation of that in law firms.
So you still have to run all elements of a business, just like any business owner. Just because you're a lawyer, it's separate from you actually being a business owner.
Absolutely. And if you trick yourself into thinking you don't have to do that, you're probably not going to end up doing very well for a lot of clients.
Yeah, because not all lawyers can be their own business owners. It just doesn't work that way.
No.
Now, when you have a law firm and you're dealing with very sensitive topics here, like divorce or difficult situations like Social Security Disability, how do you build culture among your employees to create that high-powered culture at a law firm?
Well, I think you need to be very clear and transparent with your team about what your vision is for each company.
Right.
Our vision for Atlanta Divorce Law Group is happily ever after divorce, and we've actually even trademarked that. And it's
is there happiness after divorce there? There can be,
Well,
right?
we believe that if you are in a dysfunctional and unhealthy situation and you can take that leap of faith and move towards the unknown, you can find happiness on the other side. We've had many clients that have, and that is something that we constantly speak to with our team at Atlanta Divorce Law Group. Is this is supposed to be a big life transition that we're trying to take them to a more positive place. We don't want to hear things about, well, divorce is ugly or divorce is this. Of course it is, but we are here to give them some hope that they've made a right choice in making that leap.
Right.
And the Khaki Law Firm, it's constantly about guiding people through the most difficult time in their lives. We understand these people are feeling isolated, separated, not productive, and our point is to make it less overwhelming.
So you're not just settling the cases, you're also trying to give them a life path plan to get back on track. I think Jackie O said something like, marry first for love and then the second one is money, or something like that. Maybe the third one for companionship. But I noticed one of the things that you do that's very clever when you talk about this concept of happily ever after divorce is that you have a newsletter. Is it a good idea for entrepreneurs to have some sort of touch point like a newsletter? Is email getting too cluttered today? How do you get that out to your customers?
Yeah, I'm a huge believer of Dan Kennedy. If any of your listeners or people that watch this pay attention to Dan Kennedy, and he's a huge advocate for just old school.
Just making touches,
Making touches and getting paper in front of our hands, and I think people miss that. And I 100% am an advocate for anybody that wants to market their business to write a newsletter, put their opinions on there, put their vision on there, give a little glimpse of their staff, give a glimpse of their people that they like to work with. and actually make it a piece of paper people can hold on to,
Right.
and not just another email that people want to delete or
It gives
unsubscribe.
it gives you some connection with the business, right? You know, you have that connection with the owner and the staff if you see their
Absolutely.
faces. Now, you were recently recognized as a super lawyer. Congratulations
Thank you.
for that, by
Thank
the
you.
way, here in Georgia. How important is it for owners to win awards? Because the media is so powerful today,
Right.
and people read and see a lot of things on the internet. Is it important to win awards like that and then showcase that for the people that are your clients?
Well, I have two feelings on that because there is so much noise out there with awards too.
There are a
So
lot
it
of
is
them.
a little bit, here and there. But at the end of the day, people are in this economy with the internet and all the access we have to information. People want to make quick decisions, and they quickly want to know: are you somebody I should pay attention to? So at this point, I almost think these awards are leveling the
They're
playing
getting
field.
watered down.
Yeah, so you have to even have them just so that you are on the same playing field as your competition. But then beyond that, it's really what is the extra value you're about to give? What is the vision that you have that nobody else, no competitor could really touch? So it really just evens the playing field with all the noise and all the awards
But
we
you
have
still
out
need
there.
them. You still
I
need
think
them.
you do, absolutely.
I'm very curious. I was so excited to interview you today because one thing I'm curious about is that a lot of people have business partners,
Yeah.
and they talk about what will happen to the business at a death or what happens at a disability. But what happens to a business when you have two partners and they have to go through a divorce? Or one of the partners is actually getting divorced? Is that something they need to safeguard against?
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're a huge proponent for prenuptial agreements for that reason. And a lot
Right.
of times, you should have a business lawyer. If you have a business, you should have a business lawyer, even if you're not going through a separation of business or marriage.
You're going to need them sometime.
Yeah, you're going to need them sometime. And we personally would love to talk to your business lawyer and collaborate with them, whether you're going through a prenuptial, so we can make sure we've covered the business, or if you're going through the divorce, so we're aware of everything that's there. But in a lot of cases, we have to get forensic accountants involved and do some
Sometimes
real
business
deep.
owners shuffle money in and out of the business.
Absolutely. Yeah, the business divorces can get a little bit more tough, but if people were just, more proactive about it, with wills, trust and estates, and business lawyers, prenuptial agreements, these are all things that are not so exciting to do because you're thinking about worst case scenarios. But
Right.
just like we have to buy life insurance, disability insurance,
Things you have to
medical
get.
insurance, these are just insurances as business owners we need to have.
You know, as a service business, there may be people that are thinking about becoming an accountant or an attorney or some other service professional, even designing websites. How do you know, Sarah, when it's the right time to fire a client? You know, I feel like it's probably the hardest thing to do for somebody who's in a service business to say, I'm making money, but I just don't enjoy this relationship. Have you had to do that?
Yes, I've had to do that. And I think that most of us business people or entrepreneurs have learned that the hard way. We get a gut instinct about somebody that this
You
is
know in
probably
front it's
not
not
the
gonna be
right
good.
person for me, but you're like, let's just give it a shot. Maybe if I set up the right boundaries, I do this. But all that, goes haywire. What I would recommend to do, which we have now done after, we've had to go through that the hard way, is really sit down and write a persona for what is your ideal client. And then you have your top ideal client. Then maybe you have that's your A client. Then you perhaps have your B client. And then you have your C, and then maybe on the C client, you really are clear on what they look like, what they're like, what their profile looks like. And when they walk through the door, you can spot it. That's a C client. Do I want to take on a C client?
They're either in that box,
right now?
Or they're not in that box.
Exactly.
I'm curious because you're in the kind of business where you can get testimonials. How important is it to display those testimonials up on your website and have other people say, I use the Khaki law firm, they were great? How important is that, and how does it change the digital strategy and what you do marketing-wise today?
Yeah, it's huge. It's everything today. I mean, like I said, this day and age, everybody has the awards, everybody has the fancy websites, everybody has the videos. So what people want to know is, have you helped other people like me? And we do it when we shop on Amazon, correct? First thing you do is you filter through the reviews, and then you're looking for the 5-star reviews.
5 stars.
And then you go straight to the negative ones and make sure, okay, that makes sense or it doesn't make sense. And if you have somebody with 6,000 reviews, all positive, you don't trust it, it's incredibly important. I think it's also important for your operation to really hear what people's experiences are like, especially in the service industry. Usually when they're done, they're done, and they may not come to you and say, here's the things that were good, here's the things that were bad. They want to move on with their life. Time is precious to all of us.
So it's nice to have a forum to be able to produce that information, say, here's what we enjoyed about the experience, but you use those reviews a lot and you can share them with future customers that
Absolutely. We use the
firm.
good ones with future customers to say, here's other clients just like you. We also have our clients call references that are former clients and say, here's clients that we've worked with that had similar sick cases to yours. No two cases are ever the same, but similar. And they contact them and kind of tell them how it was. And if you do get a negative one, that's an opportunity for you to do better and go to your team and check in and see what's not working and pivot.
So you built up this successful law firm. What's your one tip that you can give other entrepreneurs about how to retain really good employees? Like, how do you keep those good employees where they don't want to go to another law firm?
Right.
They don't want to walk across the street for $5,000 more money. What's your one tip to keep people?
My one tip is you first have your own vision of where you want your business to lead you professionally, financially, and personally. And then when you recruit, you make sure that maybe nobody's going to be on your journey with you 100% the exact same line the whole way, but you make sure that they're at least aligned with your journey, with where they want to be professionally, personally, and financially. And you do check-ins. You do quarterly check-ins and you say, okay,
quarterly
so
check-ins.
we do quarterly check-ins.
That's pretty cool.
And they have a form where they fill out, and this is where I want to be financially 3 years from now, 5 years from now. This is where I want to be in my personal life. I want to be able to buy a house. I want to go on these trips. I want to be able to take some time off to have a baby. And we just check in that we are on the same, our journeys are aligned. And if we're not, then we help them find, a place where they would be aligned.
Thank you for that advice today. Those at home, think about this. Get a quarterly check-in with your employees. Create your vision and tell employees where your firm is headed. I mean, take it from Sara Khaki. She's not actually done one law firm, she's actually done two. I'm Ted Jenkins, small business expert, and this was the Atlanta Small Business Profile.
Thanks for watching Atlanta Small Business Profile with Ted Jenkins, part of JBF Business Media.